This is Scott Bach-Hansen, Vice President for Cardinal Basketball Officials Association, and today I'm doing a recap video on the traveling rule, specifically more focus on the pivot foot, the jump stop, getting off the ground, hopefully giving you some guidelines to help not only the way we call it as officials, but for coaches that are watching this and how to teach the right way. So what does the rule say? Well, basically it means if one foot is on the ground when the possession is gained, then that's the foot that is the pivot foot. If both feet are on the ground at the same time and there's possession gain, then either foot can be the pivot foot. Okay, so a player who catches the ball while moving, dribbling, they can stop. The pivot foot is established whether one foot's already on the ground or as they land, the first foot that touches the ground, or if both feet land, it can be either foot. So that's just the basics. You can pause this and read through this as you see fit. How the pivot foot's established, I'm going to start down here at number 3. The pivot foot may not be lifted before the ball is released to start a dribble. So if we catch a pass in the wing and we have our left foot as the pivot foot, before the ball is released, I cannot have that pivot foot leave the court. So again, before it has to be, the pivot foot has to stay before the ball is released. Okay, once the ball is released, then my pivot foot can lift. I'm going to show you a play to hopefully explain this a little bit easier. So in this play right here, we have the center official is going to watch. The ball is going to come over here to number 5, who's going to dribble up to the top. The ball comes out here, and right there we can tell that the left foot is the pivot foot. So I'll go back and we'll go at full speed so you can see this. Okay, so it's pretty quick, and the kids are getting really good at this now. But you know, if you're in triple threat position and you do that jab step and they advance towards you, then you make that crossover move. The ball has to be released before the pivot foot's lift. And what happens on this play, and I'll go in slow motion, is the left foot comes off the ground before the dribbler passes the defender. Okay, so that is a travel, and the official makes the correct call. The signal's not that great, but the official makes the right call. So as officials, I would also tell you that if you get better angles, you can help yourself in seeing this play. You know, other pieces to the puzzle here, we see this a lot too in B. If I catch a pass in the wing and I haven't dribbled yet, but I decide to just jump in the air and land on the ground, just jump up and down, it is a travel. I'm lifting my pivot foot, obviously. So if a player catches a ball in the wing and hasn't started their dribble, and they go up for a jump shot, and the defender closes out quickly, and the offensive player says, oh, I'm going to get my shot blocked, and they try to start dribbling, it's a travel. It's the same as the other one. It's just that it looks a little different, and sometimes we get caught off guard and miss that one. I'm not sure why, but it is a travel, just so we are clear on that. Okay. One of the biggest areas I wanted to focus on is the jump stop, and this is kind of where this conversation really has the meat of the piece. Just remember this. Jump stop for us as officials. If a player, A1, is dribbling, and as he or she gathers the ball, will alight or jump off of one foot and land on 2. Once they land on 2, there is no pivot foot. If you take a step, it's a travel. If you pivot, it's a travel. You can jump, but if you land, it's a travel. So you can jump up and shoot, you can pass, you can call timeout, but any step is a travel. So I'm going to show you a couple of videos here to help paint the picture. So first of all, there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube, these guys that call themselves basketball drills experts, you know, coaches, trainers. You have to be really careful in the information that's out there. This is 110,000 views. And these two guys, I'm sure they think they're doing the right thing here, but they're teaching players how to do a jump stop incorrectly. So he's going to show a guard dribbling down the lane. He's going to jump off his right foot, land on 2. That's a jump stop. Then he says, well, you can pivot this way and pass, or you can take a step this way and pass. Well, that's incorrect. As soon as that foot comes back down, it's a travel. Okay, so we got to remember to show our players the right way to do things. Let me show you another one. Okay, here's another one. This is a coach, and again, I'm not knocking anybody that tries to spend time and volunteers coaching with kids. I just want to make sure we're teaching them the right thing, and sometimes understanding the rule can get cloudy. So in this play, he's having these two girls take turns dribbling up and doing a jump stop. The jump stops that these two girls do are fantastic, by the way. So it will help really paint the picture, but they can't pivot afterwards. So this drill, he's going to have her dribble up, do a jump stop, and then pivot and pass back. So dribbles up, jump stop, again, a light off of one, land on two, and then he's telling us, and from here you can pivot, and you can pivot in either direction, and that's incorrect. Okay, so we need to make sure we're teaching the kids the right way as well, because you'll see that she's going to pass it to the other girl, and then again, this is a great jump stop that the post player girl comes. Great view of that, but once the pivot happens, it's a travel. So things that are not a jump stop, but they're called a jump stop. Okay, a player catches the ball on the wing on a pass and then makes that little hop to set themselves. That's a travel. Again, if I just caught the ball on the wing and just jumped up and down, it would be a travel. So why is a little hop conceived to be a jump stop? It's not. Okay, a jump stop only happens at the end of a dribble. Catching a pass on the wing and hopping is a travel. So I want to show you a couple of videos on this one as well. Okay, here we have this player here is going to come around the screen here, catch the pass up top, and take a jump shot. I'm going to show you this in a couple of views. Catches, hops, shoots. Okay, so you're going to see it a lot better here as I go in slow motion, and you're going to go, wow, that's a bad travel. It was the right foot, then the left foot, then a hop, and it's not good. Officials, okay, not to pick on our trail official here at the training event, but right here, the shot's already gone up, and now we're stepping down, okay? We need to be between players so we have better looks. Our trail should have gotten sideline oriented quicker so that they can get a look between the players, and it's a right-handed shooter, so I want to make sure that I'm on the correct side for the strike zone in case there's a foul where that player touches the elbow. So as this play goes through, right as the ball is released, I want to take a step down now because I can anticipate that shot going, and we end up missing the play. Okay, so there's one of them. Okay, on this play here, what's going to happen is the pass is going to come back up top here, and you're going to see a hop. And I'll just put this in slow motion to start. Catches the pass, hops, now takes a step, and shoots. All right, and so obviously a travel on this play as well. Again, officials on this play, I want you to pay attention to Mike here, who is in great position to start with, and really should. There's no reason that he doesn't get the travel other than he just misses it. But notice that once the player starts his dribble, Mike backs out, and now he stacks himself, meaning that he's looking in the back of the player, doesn't have a good look at the strike zone. And if you look, the right foot at the last second touches the three-point arc, at least it appears to be. And there's no way he's going to be able to see that from his angle. So as officials, we need to be more efficient with staying sideline-oriented and having better angles. Right there, we're guessing. Now, the shot doesn't go in, but we need to be better than just guessing on that three-point arc. So get to a place where you can see it. Okay, and the third and final play on the hop is the guard is going to dribble towards the middle here, pass it out up top, and we miss the hop. Okay, that is a travel. Okay, and again, there's no reason for us to miss this other than we're not paying attention. Now, some people will say, well, Scott, is there really an advantage gained here? Why would we slow the game down by calling a travel here? Well, this is a basic fundamental rule of basketball. And if we start letting this go, then what's the next rule we're going to let go? We're just going to start avoiding hand checks, or we're just going to start avoiding post-play contact. So we are the guardians and the keepers of the game. This is a travel. We need to call it and make sure we do. Here's another video that shows, how to do a Derrick Rose hop step. The first piece of this is he shows you how to do a jump stop correctly. So if you look at this one, this is just a jump stop. Okay, he lights from one and lands on two. Okay. Earlier in the video, he decides that he's going to show you a different hop step. This one is actually incorrect. This is a travel. And again, it has me where 205,000 viewers. Now we're up to over, close to 350,000 viewers on how to do a travel. You'll see he alights off of one foot, and then it's the same foot that hits first, so it's a pitter-patter. And this is a travel. So alights, and then right foot hits again. Okay, you have to land simultaneously for it to be a jump stop. Okay, so that maybe help as well. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more idea of, jump stop, what's not a jump stop, what's a travel, what's not a travel. Give you some guidelines and help the coaches teach as well. Another area that a lot of people have a challenge with is, when a player has fallen, what can they do when they're on the ground? Okay, so first of all, if you have the ball and you have possession of it and you fall to the ground, it's a travel. Whether it's you stepped on a teammate's foot, you lost your balance, maybe there was a little bit of a bump and we probably should have called a foul and didn't, and you fall to the ground, it's a travel. Okay, if both knees are on the ground and you bring one up, it's a travel. If one knee is on the ground and you start to get up, it's a travel once that knee comes off the ground. You cannot roll over to your side or over to your backside if you're laying on your stomach. So let's show you what that looks like. All right, there's a couple things to watch in this play. This is a game we had down at St. Stephen's. First of all, officials, I want you to pay attention to Paul Klein as the lead and Richard Vaughn, Dickie V here in the center. As the ball gets moved around and we get close to a scrum being contested, see how far away the officials are now? Remember that, because I want you to pay attention to how close they are at the end of this play. So we'll go in fast motion first. Okay, so again, once the scrum starts happening here, first of all, the officials start to close in, okay? And you can see Paul's taking steps, Dickie V's taking steps. The player was on his stomach and now begins to roll over. And as soon as he gets to his side, there, we got a travel, and Dickie V makes the correct call. Just a couple of other guidelines, for officials. If a player from each team or a player from the same team has simultaneous control, A1 and A2 both get the rebound at the same time, and then they both start pulling it away, they haven't communicated, and they both take steps, it's a travel. Okay, and then the other one is, and more for coaches, a player can slide all the way across the court. There's no determination. As soon as they roll over or turn, that's a different thing, but they can slide from one end of the court all the way to the other, as long as they don't go out of bounds or there's not backcourt involved. Sliding doesn't matter. They can slide as long as they want. So hopefully that will give you some help and some guidelines. The last two things I want to show you here is we have to know what's being practiced and what's coming across. They're trying to find ways to beat defenders all the time. Okay, we have palming violations. We could do a whole video on that. The Euro step. This is something that is relatively new to the high school game, but it's been around in the NBA for a while, thanks to Manu Ginobili and some others. But high school players are doing this now, and we are getting tricked, and we are looking at it and going, well, that's goofy, so it has to be a travel. Just remember, if you think it's a travel, it's not. And if you know it's a travel, it is. So let's watch this play. Okay, in this play, we have Langston Gaither from Hayfield last year. Very athletic guard and had a great Euro step. This is a steal, and you can see our trail, who's now going back down the lead, is caught here. And it may have something to do with the look that he has and ends up believing there's a travel when there's not. So we'll put it in fast motion first. All right, and one of the things I learned a long time ago in watching some of the NBA videos, a Euro step looks like a travel because the player goes at a frenetic pace or a faster pace, and then that Euro step slows him down so much that it allows him to have the defenders go past him or misjudge their spacing and timing. So as I fast forward this in I go in slow motion, I should say, you'll see that Langston, who has a great Euro step, that first step right here kind of slows things down, and we have contact, and then the defender, but there's never a travel here. Okay, again, if we go by rule, The pivot foot is the right foot as he's gathering. All right. And so then he's going to go to his left foot. Okay. That right foot never returns to the court. Therefore, it's not a travel. Okay. And so we get that one wrong. And I think you have to see that live once or twice, and you probably end up screwing it up before we end up having it resonate that, whoa, wait a minute, that's not a travel. Another play that we're seeing a lot of is the step back jumper. Really, Steph Curry, Derrick Rose, and James Harden are probably the best at it. But as you look at this play, I would say this. Sometimes the kids are just great athletes, and sometimes I'm just not good enough to pick it up. And if this is a travel, then I just missed it. Again, my theory is always, if it's a travel, I'm going to call it. If I think it's a travel, then I'm going to stay away from it. So watch this play. That is a step back. And it's one that we get in trouble with. So, we can look at this. I can't slow it down in YouTube here. But he lights off his left and steps back. That pitter-patter tells me it's probably a travel. It's so close with the potential jump stop. It's a tough call, okay? And this is going to be coming more and more to the high school game. So we as officials have to get ready to learn how to referee this play as well, okay? Sometimes it ends before the dribble's picked up. Sometimes the dribble carries it through to the step back. So it's a tough play to referee, especially if you're refereeing the defense. So pay attention to that one as well. And this last video I'm going to show you, this is a play that we see a lot more, especially more in the girls' games. I just feel, and no offense to the boys, but I feel like the girls are really much more fundamentally sound and understand on a step through what a step through is. So in this play here, the Chantilly point guard, and she's a really tough player. I believe her last name is Clougherty, but she had a great step through play on this, and we called it travel. So pay attention to it in fast motion first. All right, and we called it travel. But if you slow it down and you take a look at it, and if we know the things about the travel, we're going to see that she gets her pivot foot here, the right foot, steps through with the left foot. That right foot lifts, but it doesn't come back down before that shot's released. Therefore, this is not a travel. We like to call it a travel, but it's not. And similar play here, the Mount Vernon post player gets the ball and has the defender for Woodson jumps up, and we're probably okay with a no call here, but if you're going to call a foul, it's going to be on the defender. But as I back it up, we'll play it again in fast motion. And you'll notice that the player kept his left foot down. It did not come back down. So he's going to go up, step through. The left foot comes off the ground, but does not return to the floor before the ball is released. Therefore, that's not a travel. Good no call by the officials. And the last thing is just there's no traveling during a throw-in. Okay, there is no pivot foot. Okay, so they can take steps left and right as much as they want. They have a 3 feet box basically there from a width standpoint. So it's basically what we teach is one normal step to the left, one normal step to the right is going to give you that 3 feet. There's no depth limitation. So on the end line, if they're throwing it in and it's a court like Mount Vernon or Lake Braddock or Robinson, they can go all the way back to the wall or to the stands. There's no depth on this play. So they have the ability to go as far back as they want. Just remember that you can't go left or right, but the signal's not a travel if you go past 3 or 4 feet. It is just a violation of a throw-in. So that's it for this video on traveling and giving you some guidance and some guidelines. I really wanted to make this 15 minutes, but there's so much to pack in here, and there's about 4 or 5 clips that I was not able to show in the interest of time. So, but if nothing else, I hope this helps coaches talk to your players about the jump stop, the step through. If you need some more guidance and help on this, reach out to myself, reach out to Mike Preston, our rules interpreter, and we can certainly give you a hand. Thanks so much, and good luck this season.